Tom and Jerry is 85 years old. 85 years. Think about that. Your grandfather watched it, your father watched it, you watched it, but nobody ever told you the real story behind it. How did it start? Who made it? And why did the studio almost kill it before the world even knew its name? Today, we answer all of that. This is the true story of Tom and Jerry, and I promise you have never heard it like this before. Part 1. The World Before Tom and Jerry. It is the year 1937. America is coming out of one of the worst times in its history, the Great Depression. People have very little money. Life is hard. But movies? Movies are a way to escape. And cartoons? Animated short films shown before the main movie. These are huge. And one studio is winning everything. Walt Disney Productions. Disney is doing things nobody has ever done before. They are making cartoons with music, with emotion, with stories. In 1937, Walt Disney releases Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the world's first full-length animated film. People cry in the cinema, they laugh, they feel things from a cartoon that they have never felt before. Disney is not just winning the cartoon game, Disney is changing what cartoons even mean. And everyone else? Everyone else is far behind. Now across town, there is a studio called Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. You probably know them as MGM, the studio with the roaring lion at the beginning of movies. MGM is a huge, powerful film company. They make serious movies, big movies, award-winning movies. But their cartoon department, it is a mess. MGM has a cartoon studio called the Rudolph Ising Unit. And this studio is producing cartoons. But nothing special, nothing exciting. The cartoons are okay, fine, forgettable. MGM is watching Disney pull further and further ahead, and they are getting worried. So they decide to do something. They hire 2 new animators. Their names are Hanna and Joseph Barbera. And these 2 men, they are about to change everything. Part 2, Meet the 2 men behind the magic. Hanna was born in 1910 in Melrose, New Mexico. He was a quiet, organized man. He loved music. He was good at timing, understanding exactly when something should happen to make it funny or emotional. He studied engineering before he got into animation, which might seem strange, but actually made perfect sense. Animation is all about timing, mechanics, and precision. Joseph Barbera was born in 1911 in New York City. He was the opposite of Hanna in many ways. Loud, energetic, full of ideas. He had worked as a bank clerk before getting into cartoons. He loved to draw. He could come up with 10-story ideas before breakfast. He was the creative explosion. Hanna was the one who could shape that explosion into something controlled and perfect. Together, they were a perfect team. Hanna was the timing. Barbera was the ideas. Hanna was the structure. Barbera was the spark. But when they first arrived at MGM, they were just employees. No special treatment. No big welcome. They were just 2 more animators in a building full of animators, and for a while they worked on other people's characters, other people's cartoons. Nothing of their own, until one day, they got a chance. MGM told them, "We need new cartoon characters. Come up with something. Let's see what you've got." This was the moment. This was their shot. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because the first idea they came up with was not Tom and Jerry, no. Their first idea was much stranger. They pitched a cartoon about a cat and a mouse who were actually friends. They lived together happily. No chasing, no fighting, just two animals getting along. And MGM said, no. Nobody wants to watch animals being nice to each other, they said. We need conflict. We need action. We need comedy. So Hanna and Barbera went back to the drawing board. And this time they came up with something completely different. What if, they thought, the cat and the mouse were enemies? What if every single cartoon was about the cat trying to catch the mouse and always failing? What if the mouse was always smarter? What if every time the cat thought he had won, something went wrong? What if the cat always lost? MGM said, make us a test cartoon. Let's see it. Part 3, Puss Gets the Boot. The cartoon that started it all. It is 1940. Hanna and Barbera get to work. They create their first cartoon. It is called Puss Gets the Boot. Now, here is a fascinating fact. In this very first cartoon, the characters do not even have their famous names yet. The cat is called Jasper. The mouse is called Jinx. But the formula? The formula is already there. Jasper the cat is trying to catch Jinx the mouse. Every time Jasper almost catches him, Jinx escapes in a clever way. Every time Jasper causes destruction in the housekeeper threatens to throw him out. So the cat has two problems. Catch the mouse and don't break anything. Of course, he fails at both. The cartoon is funny. It moves fast. The comedy is physical. Things breaking, characters getting hit. Impossible things happening in very possible-looking ways. It is what we now call slapstick comedy. And it works beautifully. In February 1940, Puss Gets the Boot is released in cinemas, shown before a main movie the way cartoons were shown back then. And the audience loves it. Not just likes it, loves it. Theater owners across America start writing letters to MGM. They say, people are laughing out loud at this cartoon. Can we have more? When is the next one? And then, the biggest moment. Puss Gets the Boot gets nominated for an Academy Award. The Academy Award. The Oscar. The most famous film award in the world. This is a cartoon made by two men who had never made their own cartoon before, and it is now being mentioned in the same breath as the greatest films of the year. MGM now has a decision to make. Do they continue? Do they give Hanna and Barbera the green light to make more cartoons with this cat and mouse? Here is the shocking part of this story. MGM almost said no. One of the senior executives at MGM, a woman named Schlitze, actually told the studio they should not make more Jasper and Jinx cartoons. She felt the idea was too simple. Just a cat and a mouse? She thought it would get boring quickly. But the letters kept coming from theater owners. The audience demand was impossible to ignore. MGM said yes, keep going. And with that, Hanna and Barbera got to work on the real thing. But first, they needed better names. A contest was held inside the MGM studio. Employees could suggest names for the cat and the mouse. The winner, an animator named John Carr, suggested Tom and Jerry. He won $50. And just like that, Tom and Jerry were born. Part 4, The Golden Age. 7 Oscars and a legend. From 1940 to 1958, Hanna and Barbera directed 114 Tom and Jerry cartoons for MGM. 114. Think about that. That is 18 years of Tom chasing Jerry. 18 years of frying pans and mouse traps and explosions and clever escapes. 18 years of Hanna and Barbera getting better and better at their craft. And the world noticed. Tom and Jerry won 7 Academy Awards for Best Animated Short Film during this period. 7. That is not a record. That is a historic achievement. In fact, It tied with Walt Disney's own Silly Symphonies series for the most Oscars ever won in that category. The student had caught up with the teacher. Remember, MGM hired Hanna and Barbera because they were losing to Disney. And now their cartoon was sitting at the same table as Disney, winning the same awards, getting the same recognition. This is one of the greatest comeback stories in animation history. Now let's talk about what made Tom and Jerry so special, what made millions of people around the world laugh, in every country, in every language, across every generation. The secret is this: Tom and Jerry speaks without words. There is almost no dialogue in Tom and Jerry. Tom does not give long speeches. Jerry does not explain his plans. Everything, every emotion, every joke, every clever escape is told through movement, sound, and music. This is a masterclass in visual storytelling. When Tom gets hit on the head and little stars spin around him, you do not need anyone to say that hurt. You feel it. When Jerry gives Tom a smug little smile after outsmarting him, you do not need subtitles. You understand everything. This is why Tom and Jerry works in every country. Language does not matter. Culture does not matter. You just watch. And you laugh. And the music? Oh, the music. Scott Bradley was the composer who wrote music for Tom and Jerry, and he was a genius. He did not just add music to the cartoon, he made the music part of the comedy. Every footstep, every crash, every sneak, the music matches it perfectly. Bradley often used classical music, jazz, and orchestral pieces in ways that made the cartoons feel like mini-movies. Some of the musical scores in Tom and Jerry are more complex than music written for full-length films. Part 5. The shocking hidden facts nobody talks about. Now, let's talk about the things most people do not know. Hidden fact number 1. Tom actually wins sometimes. Everyone thinks Jerry always wins. But if you go back and carefully watch the original cartoons, Tom actually catches Jerry in a few of them. In some cartoons, they even work together and become friends, only to go back to fighting in the next episode. The relationship between Tom and Jerry is more complicated than just Mouse always wins. Sometimes Tom wins. Sometimes they help each other. Sometimes they are almost friends. The show is more human than people remember. Hidden fact number 2. The cartoons were banned in many countries. Tom and Jerry was considered too violent in several places around the world. Germany, the UK, and other countries edited out scenes that they felt showed too much cartoon violence. Some episodes were pulled from television entirely. Now, is Tom and Jerry actually violent? Think about it. Tom gets hit with a frying pan. He falls off a building. He gets his tail caught in a door. But he is always fine in the next scene. There are no real consequences. The violence is completely unreal. This is exactly what slapstick comedy is. It is physical, exaggerated, impossible, and because of that it is funny, not frightening. Hidden fact number 3. One episode stunned even music critics. In 1955, a Tom and Jerry cartoon called Tom and Jerry in the Hollywood Bowl features Tom conducting a full orchestra while Jerry plays tricks on him. This episode is considered one of the greatest pieces of animation ever made, not just as a cartoon, but as a combination of music and visual art. Music critics and animation historians still talk about this episode today. Hidden fact number 4. The studio closed. But Tom and Jerry survived. In 1957, MGM closed its cartoon studio. After 18 years of Tom and Jerry, after 7 Academy Awards, After becoming one of the most successful animated series in history, MGM shut it all down. Television was becoming popular, audiences were watching cartoons at home, for free. But Tom and Jerry did not die. MGM hired Gene Deitch, then the legendary Chuck Jones, the man behind Bugs Bunny, to continue. Tom and Jerry had survived the death of its own studio. Hidden fact number 5. Tom and Jerry is why Hanna-Barbera exists. After being let go from MGM, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera started their own studio, Hanna-Barbera Productions. This studio went on to create the Flintstones, Scooby-Doo, Yogi Bear, the Jetsons, and Johnny Quest. Every single one of these cartoons exists because Tom and Jerry gave Hanna and Barbera the experience, confidence, and reputation to do something on their own. Tom and Jerry did not just create 2 iconic characters, it launched an empire. Part 6. Tom and Jerry Conquers the World. By the 1960s and 1970s, Tom and Jerry had moved to television, and something incredible happened. Children who grew up watching Tom and Jerry in the 1940s now had their own children, and those children were watching Tom and Jerry too. Then those children had children, and those children watched Tom and Jerry. 3 generations, 4 generations, all watching the same cat and mouse. This is almost unheard of in entertainment. Most shows, most movies, most cartoons, they are popular for a few years and then they fade. New things replace them. People move on. Tom and Jerry never faded. Why? Because the comedy is timeless. The problems Tom faces, trying to get what he wants, always failing, always trying again, these are human problems. We all know what it is like to want something badly and keep failing to get it. We all know what it is like to be outsmarted by someone smaller than us. We all know what it is like to be Jerry, small but clever, and always finding a way. Tom and Jerry is funny because it is true. Not literally true. Nobody gets hit with a frying pan in real life. But emotionally true. That is why it works everywhere. In Japan, in India, in Brazil, in Egypt, in Poland, in Nigeria, in every single country where children sit in front of a television, Tom and Jerry makes them laugh. By some estimates, Tom and Jerry has been broadcast in over 200 countries. That makes it one of the most widely distributed television programs in human history. Part 7. The Modern Era. Tom and Jerry Today. Tom and Jerry has never truly stopped. In 1975, a new Tom and Jerry animated TV series launched. Then another in 1980. Then Tom and Jerry Kids in 1990. Then Tom and Jerry Tales in 2006. Then The Tom and Jerry Show in 2014, which ran all the way until 2021. In 1992, the first Tom and Jerry feature film was released. Tom and Jerry, the Movie. This was controversial among fans because in this film, Tom and Jerry actually speak full sentences in English. For fans of the original silent comedy style, this felt wrong. A cartoon famous for working without dialogue suddenly gave its characters, voices, and words. The film was not a big success. 13 direct-to-video films were made between 2002 and today. Some are good, some are not so good, but they showed that the demand for Tom and Jerry never disappeared. In 2019, a stage musical called Tom and Jerry, Per Chance to Dream premiered in Japan, celebrating Tom and Jerry's 80th anniversary, a live cartoon, performed on stage with actors and sets, bringing Tom and Jerry into the real world. And then in 2021, a new live-action and animated film simply called Tom and Jerry was released in cinemas worldwide. In this film, Tom and Jerry exist in our real world. Animated characters living among real human beings. And in June 2025, a new film, Tom and Jerry Forbidden Compass, was released as a Chinese-American co-production, taking Tom and Jerry on a brand new adventure. 85 years after their first cartoon, Tom and Jerry are still here, still chasing, still being chased, still making children laugh, still timeless, ending. The lesson Tom and Jerry teaches us. Here is something I want you to think about before this video ends. Tom never gives up. Think about it. Episode after episode, cartoon after cartoon, film after film, Tom gets beaten. He loses. He falls. He gets hit with pans and brooms and rolling pins and everything else. And every single time, he gets back up. He fixes himself. He shakes it off. And he tries again. Now, does he ever actually catch Jerry? Rarely. Almost never. In almost 85 years of cartoons, Tom's main goal, catching that one mouse, is something he almost never achieves. And yet he keeps trying. Some people look at Tom and they feel sorry for him. Poor Tom, always the loser, always the one who fails. But I look at Tom differently. Tom is the one who never stops. Tom is the one who wakes up every single day and says, "Today, I am going to try again." Tom is the one who refuses to accept defeat even when defeat is the most logical outcome. In a strange way, Tom is not the loser of this story. Tom is the one who never quits. And Jerry? Jerry is not evil. Jerry is not mean. He is simply someone who refuses to be caught. Someone who uses his brain instead of his size. Someone who proves every single episode that intelligence matters more than power. Two small animated characters created in a small studio in 1940 by two men who were trying to save their jobs. And together, they taught the whole world something true about life. Never stop chasing what you want, and never let anything catch you. William Hanna died in 2001 at the age of 90. Joseph Barbera died in 2006 at the age of 95. They spent their entire lives making people laugh. And the characters they created, the cat and the mouse, they are still here, still running, still chasing, still making every generation of children smile. Tom and Jerry is not just a cartoon. It is 85 years of joy. And it is not done yet. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something new today, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories like this. And tell me in the comments, are you Team Tom or Team Jerry?